Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Littner. We left off on chapter 9. Mercy stopped. She sniffed. The smell of butter was very strong. The smell of butter was very near. The smell of butter was coming from the back seat of a station wagon. Mercy stuck her head in the window. She sniffed again. The smell of butter was coming from an extremely large bucket in the hands of a very smell child. Mercy helped herself. The small child screamed, "Papa, Papa, a monster is eating my popcorn." Mercy chewed. The popcorn was drenched in butter. It was delicious. A man stuck his face in Mercy's snout. "What do you think you're doing?" the man said. What did Mercy think she was doing? She thought she was enjoying a buttery snack. "Get out of there," shouted the man. He gave Mercy a very forceful shove. Popcorn went flying everywhere. Mercy thought that perhaps it was time to move on. Chapter 10. In the front row of the Bijou Drive-In, Officer Tommy Lello sat up straight in his seat. Officer Tommy Lello said, "Did you hear that?" Mrs. Officer Tommy Lello said nothing. "Was that a scream of distress?" said Officer Tommy Lello. "It sounded like a scream of distress," he answered himself. "Is someone in trouble?" Officer Tommy Lello asked. Mrs. Officer Tommy Lello said nothing. "It is very possible that someone is in trouble," Officer Tommy Lello answered himself. "Is it time for an officer of the law to step in?" Officer Tommy Lello asked. "Most definitely," he answered. Officer Tommy Lello put his badge around his neck. He got his bullhorn from the back seat. He kissed Mrs. Officer Tommy Lello goodbye. He said, "Am I off to make the world a safer place?" "I am," he answered himself. "I am most definitely off to make the world a safer place." Mrs. Officer Tommy Lello waved goodbye. Chapter 11. Mercy discovered that there was hot buttered popcorn everywhere. Every car had big buckets of popcorn. Every car had open windows. The popcorn was buttery. The popcorn was crunchy. The popcorn was delicious. Mercy helped herself. She helped herself again and again. People screamed, people laughed, people fainted. Mercy kept eating. In the meantime, Mr. Watson and Frank returned to the convertible with several bottomless buckets of popcorn. Mrs. Watson was crying. "My darling, my dear," said Mr. Watson, "what is wrong?" "It's a tragedy," said Mrs. Watson. "I wouldn't exactly call it a tragedy," said Eugenia Lincoln. "Mercy is missing," said Stella. "Don't worry," said Mr. Watson. "We'll find her." "I'll wait here if you don't mind," said Eugenia Lincoln. She helped herself to some hot buttered popcorn. Chapter 12. Leroy Ninker heard people screaming about monsters. Leroy Ninker heard people shouting about pigs. Leroy Ninker saw a woman with a net run past the concession stand. "What are you trying to catch?" said Leroy Ninker. "A pig," said the woman with the net. "A pig?" said Leroy Ninker. "That's right," said the woman. "You're not going to catch livestock with a net," said Leroy Ninker. "What you need is a lasso. Yippee-yi-oh!" Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Stella and Frank and Baby shouted, "Mercy! Mercy! Mercy!" "Should you remain calm?" Officer Tommy Lello asked. "You most definitely should remain calm." At the ticket counter, Beatrice Lee Peloni took her glasses off and put them back on. "Wonky," said Beatrice Lee Peloni. "Wonky in the extreme. Maybe it's some kind of an emergency. Maybe I should call for help." Beatrice Lee Peloni adjusted her glasses. She picked up the phone. Beatrice Lee Peloni dialed the fire department. Chapter 13. We'll pause right there and I'll finish up the book tomorrow. Bye, boys and girls. Have a great day.